guys, Mia Mans hanging out with the amazing Courtney Victor. We've got quite a show in store with you, Glow Girl. So get ready to hit those comments with all of your med spa questions, because I know that Courtney's DMs see your questions all the time. Before we get started, don't forget, check out all past episodes at www.miatalks.com. We do want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, the amazing Pence Allstate team. I will tell you, Courtney, Angela, and Tammy love Glow Med Spa over on David Pence's team. So they are super excited to have you on the show today. You can book an appointment with them to learn what they can do for you, when it comes to insurance at 912-961-9617. And most recently voted the best of the Coastal Empire, which Courtney, you always won that award as well. So yay! Also, another Glow Med Spa fan, Tanya Reed, and all of her team at Henry Plumbing Company. They love to buy gift cards for y'all. Hint, hint, wink, wink, GlowSavannah.com for your holiday gift card needs. And thank you to Henry Plumbing Company. Check them out online, henryplumbingco.com, or call 912-352-9827. A couple of quick notes. You guys know it's early voting right now, so make sure you get out there, rock the vote, absentee vote, or plan to hit the polls on November 3rd. I love Amazing Women, and I love that the League of Women Voters, they are doing amazing trolleys to the polls to get everyone to the polls this election season. Also, Molly Lieberman and company over at Loop It Up Savannah, they are continuing to collect items for poll warmers. So if you're looking to volunteer, get involved in this election season, lots of opportunities. But without further ado, Courtney, I could introduce you for all the titles that you have. You are basically the Reese is your boss, your daughter. That's your number one job.
Executive assistant. Yes, number one.
You are the founder of
umbrella holder to a 5-year-old.
Umbrella holder, TikTok assistant, Instagram assistant, paparazzi. All of the above. You are the founder and owner of Glow Med Spa here in Savannah. You've got multiple locations, and we're going to get into all of those locations coming up. But I most importantly love you as a woman who's always thoughtful of giving back. For 15 years, over $350,000 plus in donations given within our community, and also just a friend. I've literally known you, I think, since like the first month that I moved to Savannah, and you were so thoughtful to kidnap me into your heart, and we've never been apart.
You are in my heart, and I love you, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you to all those amazing sponsors. I recognized all of those names, all those incredible Glow supporters. So those are some great businesses that are supporting you.
Well, let's get into your story. Let's get into behind the glow, because I think that it's very easy to look at someone's success on the outside and not know, hey, how did Courtney become this beauty boss that she is today? Tell us your story there, Courtney.
Okay, so let's see. So basically, I am from Savannah, and I grew up with my father was a physician, and so was my grandfather. So I grew up always being, in a family that at the dinner table every night, we talked about, my grandpa and dad would talk about what they were doing to take care of patients and to take care of other people. And so that was just something I thought was inherent. I thought everyone just did that. And I thought that everyone just would go to different places in their city and everyone would know one another. That was something that I didn't really figure out how special we are in Savannah as a community to have that until I got older and moved away. So grew up here, went away to Vanderbilt University and was studying abroad in Italy and started to study fashion. Fell madly in love with fashion. And so when I graduated, I moved to Manhattan and started working for Hugo Boss, their corporate office, and then Michael Kors, their systems operations on Fashion Avenue. And it was wonderful. It was very much like Devil Wears Prada. We would work till 2:30 in the morning, and we would Swiffer the runways during the fashion week. And I definitely paid my dues. being there. We would steam and clean, the executive skirts and all of that stuff, just like that movie. And so then after being there for a couple of years, Barney's, New York, moved me to Boston to work as the youngest vice president for a cosmetics and skincare division that they had in a new store that they were opening there. So
youngest ever, claps, likes, hearts.
Honestly, the lady that was running the division ended up having to leave, and I kind of just I was really lucky. I went to the president and said, I've been studying this role. I know exactly where I could fit in. Just give me a chance. Let me try. Oh, that's really sweet. That just let me have a chance. Give me like 5 weeks to try to run the department. And I just kind of got the job and stuck with it. So I was doing that for 3 years, living in Boston. And I would always come home to Savannah. And Savannah so I graduated from high school in 97 and then went away, then. And so coming back to Savannah in 2005, our city had changed so dramatically in so many wonderful ways. We had SCAD, there was so much culture, there was so much opportunity. So my grandfather, back to the whole little doctor who drove around in the car and would deliver babies and bring a bag. My grandfather had been seeing patients until he was 88 years old, taking care of others. And wow. his brother is Irving Victor, who started Vicks on the River.
He just passed away, right? Did he pass away?
He did, but he had the most wonderful life. He had been a physician for up until his 70s and the medical director of the hospital of St. Joseph's. Then he retired and opened Vicks on the River. Can you imagine? And he did that until his 90s. So anyway, we have this family of people who love others, and just like all we want to do is just be involved with the community. So anyway, my grandfather was still seeing patients until he was 88, still out there, still wanting to help people and be around people all the time. And he ended up getting cancer and pretty quickly declining and passing. And my grandmother had survived, and they had been married for 68 years. So we were a little bit worried about how she would do. So I came home just to be with her, and I started looking around, and it was like there was nothing similar to the med spas and the beauty boutiques and all the things that we had in Boston. And there was no one carrying any of the lines or the skincare products or delivering the level of sophistication that we had at Barney's, New York. And I had been planning to come home, spend a summer with my grandmother, because she was just my heart, and then move to London and work with one of the lines that I'd worked with at Barney's. And I was just kind of at this point in my life where I was 27 years old, and just turned 27. And I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. I don't, you and I've talked about that, like the authenticity of just going, I don't really know what the playbook is. What's the right thing to do? And so I just decided I would try opening Glow and start really, really small and just see what happened and spend some time with my grandmother. That felt like the right thing. And so we're going into our 15th year, and it started with one treatment room and one employee. And I just hustled. I lived in this little apartment by myself, and I would just work all the time. And I didn't have a budget for advertising or anything like that. So I sent my picture into the Savannah magazine as they were doing a reader model call. And so I would I got picked. And so I went to the Savannah magazine thing, and I was like, hey, would you all like anyone to be doing makeup on any of your shoots? And it just kind of was, I was at I had my friend Gail Singer, who is the president and founder of Circa Lighting. But Gail said, Courtney, if there is a event at 9:30 at night that ends at 9:30, that's anywhere where you could be networking or meeting people or making business connections, your business day ends at 9:30 at night. Your day does not end until every single opportunity that there's out there for you to be handing out business cards, meeting people, networking is over. So that's what I did.
That's a really good takeaway, by the way. I feel like, that follows the, if Bunny Ware were watching, she'd co-sign that one right now.
By the way, I saw Bunny's episode and it was incredible. You're my favorite
yeah,
person.
you guys can see those past ones, www.miatalks.com, but don't let me stop you because I want to keep talking about the story. Was the original building, the location you have on Eisenhower, was that the first home of Glow?
That was the first home. And I literally would drive up to IKEA and drive back things in the back of my car and build the furniture, put it together myself, with the 5,000 tiny little metal parts that come from an IKEA purchase. And I remember my friend was the editor at Savannah Magazine at the time, and we had 7 votes for the best of Savannah, within my family. And I was like, can I deliver these ballots to you? It was we started so humbly. But you know what, Mia? I loved it. When I think about those times, those were some of the happiest times because I think for me, I'm such a creative and it was such a fun time because there wasn't anything to keep up with. It was nothing but up from there, and it was just being so fully immersed in getting to know Savannah again and meeting all these amazing new people like you and getting out and really helping the community. And that was when it really started to get fun, was when we got enough of a reputation that we could do things like donate to silent auctions and give back to nonprofits and start sponsoring causes that I really care about. That. And then also just the community started voting us Best of Savannah. And it was just the most incredibly surprising, but flattering. We got more than 7 votes, it turned out, and so we've won Best of Savannah now 12 years in a row. But every single year that we win, I cry and I get so excited. And it's just, I don't know, to me, Glow is so personal. We're at the point now where we have the sophistication of a company, but we have the heart of a small business, which I really love.
So go back with me to, do you remember the first services you offered at Glow? Because we're going to advance into all the services you offer now. What were your first services you offered at Glow Medical Spa?
Okay, so I was literally spray tanning people myself, was dotting them down with a sponge. No, that's true. But so we started out, there were services that no one was doing in Savannah 15 years ago. Eyelash extensions, believe it or not, nobody was doing. People really weren't doing laser hair removal. It was a brand new concept. So that was kind of our big point that was our business model, was going to be, cast a really wide net. So for me, I'm such a makeup, product junkie, and I love all things beauty. So we did a lot of event makeup. We were doing a lot of weddings. We did the SCAD fashion show for a couple of years in a row, which was such a blast. But yeah, we started off very boutique. So just probably 10 or 15 services. So yes. Are you laughing at? Someone? Are you mad?
How many? Okay, so Chad was being really distracting off camera. So let me start over with my question.
Man.
That means I get another trip to Glow just for his off camera.
Just for that, you have to get a gift card to Glow Medical Spa for that beautiful woman of yours. And by the way, you're welcome for keeping her even more beautiful, which is not possible.
So let's hop into a big part of why I wanted you right here, Courtney, is I know your DMs are crazy. Courtney, tell me about it by what my lips filled. Courtney, tell me about it. I've been thinking about
Botox. But I love it. Sorry, it's light.
Yeah, no, Courtney, what are the different types of fillers that are out there? Courtney, what are my different types of payment plans if I want this? And I think we want to make a big disclaimer that it is not about changing you or any of those types of things when you go and get these services. So I'm going to let you take this away. Go ahead.
So I love that you said that. And, that's a really, as a mother of a 5-year-old little girl, I'm super intentional about making sure that everyone knows that they have their own natural beauty and that you're born absolutely perfect and you always are perfect, and that it's what's inside that counts, which is why I named the company Glow, because I think the most beautiful thing you can have is a glow from within, and it's what's inside that counts. But that being said, our industry has come up with the most incredible research and development and products and technology for anything that you could possibly think that you would want to do to beautify yourself, to give yourself more confidence. If there's something that you want to change a little bit about maybe the way that your aging process is going, or you just want to take the look that you already have and enhance it, or make sure that, if you're dealing with breakouts or you're dealing with dull, skin or any sort of a rash or eczema, we've got the answer for that. So yeah, I'm such a big believer, and I think it's so important to use medical strength skincare. And there's a really big difference, and I preach this all the time. There's yes, girlfriend, that's my girl. Which one is it? Gentle cleansing lotion?
So I'm going to be very transparent on this talk, just so you guys know. So you will know, because I'm always at Glow. I'm product armed. I use the Gentle Cleansing Lotion. This is the Revision skincare every day. I will tell you, last year, whichever hurricane was blowing through at a Category 5, I remember DMing Courtney and going, Courtney, my skin looks like hell. And she was like, girl, we got you. You've probably been eating too many hurricane snacks. You've been eating too many hurricane snacks. And I went in and I got hydrofacials. I did hydrofacials. There's another hyaluronic. Does that sound?
Hyaluronic acid, yes.
So we did that for right before a date night where I wanted a really good glow. That's going to give you, that's like the glowy. Your skin literally is just what is that? Okay, so tell me that full name of that facial so people know.
Okay. So it's called the Glow Signature Hydrofacial. And Hydrofacial is where it's this brand new technology. It's actually a machine. Oh, somebody has a question. I love that. So it's a microdermabrasion, but it's based with water. So that's what I'm talking about. They have all of these brand new machines and equipment where we can change your skin without there being any downtime. What you actually did is called a Hydrofacial Deluxe, and it has extractions via a little vacuum and a suction, which does nothing to break the skin. I think one thing that we're all used to is if we have a problem or a pimple or anything like that, we think, we're going to push it out ourselves or extract it ourselves. Not necessary. Don't do that. You never need to do that again. Come see us. We literally Dyson vacuum it out with this Hydrofacial. And then there's all sorts of peels that now people used to think, even when I opened 15 years ago, it was you had to have this crazy beige red face and you looked like, you'd been through some sort of crazy peel and your skin's peeling all off. Literally, none of that has to happen anymore. We can give you the most gorgeous, beautiful skin with no downtime. I want to answer this beautiful lady's question. So she says, what do you think, eczema? So there's so many. I'm so sorry. First of all, thank you for your question, Betsy. And I'm so sorry that your 7-year-old son suffers from eczema. I have a little 5-year-old, so I understand how hard that can be. And it sounds like you said you've tried everything. So I know that for me, with my daughter, she had a little bit of eczema when she was a baby, and we did a bunch of the oatmeal baths. And there's some really great ones that you can get at Whole Foods that are wonderful. I really also like that Aveeno has an entire line of eczema products for babies and for children that you might want to check out if you haven't already. But actually, eczema is an interesting story. So we had a request when Diane von Furstenberg came into Savannah and parked her yacht. Do you remember that, Mia? She had her 110-foot yacht, EOS, was parked. Well,
you talk about a way to survive COVID on a yacht. Yeah. That would be the way to go through COVID. Just be, but keep going.
Yeah, she was roughing it. Well, and but what happened is they got stuck here because they were trying to go to the Caribbean and they weren't letting any of the boats in because of quarantine. So they kind of got stuck here. But she actually personally suffers from eczema and had one of the people that were her handlers on the boat call Glow and ask for certain products and asked for requests. And I sent, which she loved and worked for her. And then she called and asked for more products, something called TNS Essential Serum. That is this miracle broth. So Betsy, if you want to come by, I can give you a sample of it to try on your little son. But basically it just has a ton of super moisturizing ingredients. And then it has some human growth factors that make an incredible difference as far as healing. So it kind of actually is as if your body is healing itself, but it's putting something on topically that heals your body for you. So we can definitely talk about that, Betsy. Come by. Mia has you can just text 213-2GO-GLOW and we can answer. We'll answer your questions 24/7.
So I just also put the TNS eczema serum in the comments. So if anyone ends up watching this later on or knows someone who has eczema, you can share that with them. Also, another question coming in for you too, Courtney. Let me hop here from Lindsey about different payment plans, discounts. What do you do in terms of financing? What do you do for military? Anything like that, my love?
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsey. And thank you if you're a student and or if you're serving in the military, you or your significant other. So we always offer 10% off for all students, military and teachers, and first responders, of course. And then payment plans, we have an incredible financing system. It's called Care Credit, and it actually allows you to defer payment for up to 6 to 12 months, no interest, and that's the way that a lot of people finance, especially these bigger procedures. So yes, carecredit.com and is one thing to look up that we accept, and then 10% off for all of the above.
So you were saying bigger procedures. Can we go through like the glam slam of what's at the top?
Yeah.
Like what's at the top of the list? If you were like, this is what I want for Christmas. What's at the top of the list, Courtney?
So the larger tickets, you can have a liquid facelift where you come in and we use filler and we essentially change the entire effect that gravity has had on your face. So we add volume, we can add all sorts of bounce back. So that can be up to $5,000 to $6,000 depending.
Stop here. Liquid facelift. So give me an idea of how this works. What are you lifting from here? How does all of that work?
Great question. So whenever you want to think about anywhere that there's like shadow and light. So anywhere that you can see, like if you look into the light, anywhere that you can see darkness or see shadow, which like you can see I have it there. A lot of people have it underneath their eyes. That's the area that is lacking in volume. So we can add filler to that area, but if you have a little bit of a problem that like you have sagginess, like a lot of people use the word jowls, or they feel like they have no jowls, or they feel like they have turkey neck, or they feel like they're just like losing kind of the spring to their skin, or a lot of people start to get the sort of parentheses around the nasolabial folds right here on either side of the nose. So what we do is we actually add volume up here to draw the skin up, kind of like you think like a curtain, on a stage. So you'll pull up, you put the volume here to pull the skin up down here. Another really interesting but big area where people get filler is their temples. So you can kind of everywhere as you age, you start to lose volume all over your face. And there's this horrible quote that someone told me, but it makes perfect sense, that you can either your face or your behind can look full and great, but neither both. So if you're older, and you look really thin, you're going to also look thin in your face. And that's where the trick of filler comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can fill in here. You'll start to lose volume. Like I do my temples. You can start to put volume here. And then you can put it all here in your cheeks. And then, of course, your lips. Lips right now are just the biggest thing in our society. We do so many lip treatments, and they can be as low as $150. People do something called the lip flip, where it's temporary. It lasts like 4 to 6 weeks, and you just do 10 little units of Botox, and it flips the lip up, so you get the idea of what lip filler will look like on you. So that's super, super popular.
So I believe with the lip, you usually need about 72 hours of downtime if you're going to go in for a lip. Am I right on that turnaround time?
I mean, I would say your first time, it's very wise to do that. I think you're exactly right. I think as you go, I mean, when I get my lips done, I don't take any downtime. I just use like a little concealer, and then I put some lipstick on to cover if I have any bruising. But when it's your first time, you always want to err on the side of caution. And what ends up happening is, what I love about fillers is immediate, right? So you put it in and you literally see the results that minute. So you get your lips done. You're so excited. They look absolutely perfect. You know exactly what they're going to look like. You walk out, and then the next day you wake up and they're puffy and they're swollen, and your skin has had a little needle touch it. So it's just a little bit upset, and they get bigger. And you think, oh my gosh, what have I done? My lips are way too big. And, and then the next day they go back down, and then you think, I really liked them bigger. That's what happens with everyone. And then everyone comes back and is like, I actually really liked my lips. Let's do it a little bit bigger this time. And so that's just kind of the lip progress. But just if you're wanting to kind of keep it quiet and secret, you might want to do it on a Thursday or a Friday, and then plan to be able to be seen on Monday. And we're open every Saturday and do filler and Botox and all that on Saturdays. So that's also a really good idea. If you want to come and do it on a Saturday morning, and then Sunday's the day that you make maybe look a little bit puffy and swollen, and by Monday it goes down a little bit.
So how do you keep it balanced between, and I think this is a common question when people are first thinking about getting services at a medical spa or doing a new service for their first time. How do you keep that lip super natural so it doesn't look extreme, or it does look like something on botched? Because I do feel like while we do see this happening all the time, people are still very much aware that like they still want to look like themselves, right? When they leave.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's where you go back to where you really want to go to somewhere where you have super experienced injectors, and where you know that you're not rushed and that you're very much heard. So one thing that you and I were talking about, before we went on air, is how much we care and how much we really genuinely get to know every single patient and try to really get to know you as a person. And so I think really just communicating with the injector, coming in with pictures is always wonderful. A picture's worth 1,000 words, but that's so true. And saying exactly what you want. And also you can always add more. If anything, we're going to be on the side of, sorry, this is my dog Maggie, who's just going crazy. But erring on the side, we will always err on the side of being super conservative versus ever wanting to make someone feel like they've done more than they expected. So you can always add more, but we start really conservative. So that's where
area you mentioned was under eye. I do hear a lot of women ask me about, okay, I've got dark under eye circles.
Yes.
And you mentioned the liquid facelift as an option. What do they do with those dark under eye circles? Because maybe they're getting sleep and their skin's just not regenerating that pigment in the same way.
Absolutely. So it's interesting. Under eye circles are actually pooled blood underneath the skin, and it's always there from the very beginning of our lives. But as we age, the skin thins. so that you can see it more and more. So dark circles are a result of three things. It's either hereditary. So if your mother tended to have dark circles, it's very likely that you're going to have them. It's, as you kind of talked about, it can be sleep. It can be a sleep, oriented issue. Or it's possibility that there's just a lack of blood flow or circulation and that the blood's pooling a little bit more than necessary. So we have some really, really great eye creams that can help build up the skin and really kind of get a little bit of circulation going in a way and move out a little bit of like the kind of pooling area. And then another really great option is under eye filler, which can be such a game changer. Because again, as you're losing volume and the skin's getting thinner, the more hollow it looks and the more apparent the dark circles can become, not because they're actually darker, but just because there's not as much fat and as much volume in that area. So we can do that too. That's a really, really popular treatment is under eye filler.
One of my favorite things you're doing that I was like, I want this. You are doing a lash and a brow lift. I have no idea because I've never worn lashes at all. I haven't swam into the lash stream, but the lash, tell me all about this. And they can actually see examples right now on your Instagram too.
Yes. So that's Tyler, who's one of our beautiful models on that picture. I saw that we posted the other day of her lashes looking incredible. So believe it or not, you can kind of we can perm your lashes. Remember like old school back in the 80s, how you permed your hair and women would do foam rollers and all of that? Well, believe it or not, there are these tiny little adhesive rollers that we can apply to the lash that actually perms your lash, if you will, and gives them a natural lift. So if you want to find like the fastest way to make your eyes look larger, it's an eyelash lift, because you just automatically, it opens them right up. And the brow tinting, brows are my other like very, very favorite topic ever. You have amazing brows, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Really
make my brows flawless. I'm not cheating on them. I go and place for my nails and my brows, and I leave my face to y'all.
Well, they're doing an incredible job. But yeah, brows I think are so important. So we can actually tint your brows. We can make them lighter or we can make them darker. A lot of us that maybe have our hair a different color than our natural color. Excuse Maggie. It's just a really great Maggie. I think Maggie has allergies. Come here. Want to say hi to you?
She's like, I got something to say, girlfriend.
This is Maggie. Oh, hi. You see this? Look at Maggie's brow. Say hi.
She's like, hey. Victoria's checking in, saying the lash lift sounds amazing. I like this for the recommendation for hooded eyes. That's a great thought too for hood. There's a lot of solutions to the hood eyes. Okay, go back to brow tinting and then let's go back to the hooded eye after that. So
brow tinting, Victoria, come in. We love to see you. We're so excited that you think it's amazing, because I think you would love it. So hooded eyes, you can actually give yourself an eyebrow lift. Well, we can give you an eyebrow lift. You can do it yourself just by adding a little bit of Botox and lifting up the eyes and lifting the brow a little bit. So that's an incredible first stop. If you have hooded eyelids and you're wondering kind of that they're getting lower and lower and heavier, come in and just do like a little dab of Botox and it'll open them right up.
And that takes usually like 5 years off of someone right away. And I say this because obviously we're all going to age, but it's amazing how one little thing, and I can be very transparent, y'all, because we're friends, right? Like I have Botox, and I think it's one of those things where it's very, I probably know my injection sites. They're right here because I all the time. So I have a smiley face.
Wonderful thing.
But because I smile all the time, so I get my crow's feet done, and then I get a little on my forehead, and it's probably way under budget than anyone who's watching and going, I've thought about going to Glow Medspa, because there's so many fantastic programs. But I'm going to cheat really quickly because I know we only have so much time. So I want to give you guys the best beauty secrets that I am using every single week. I know during COVID-19, you see people doing like self-care Sunday and they're doing their mask. So in my hand is the Revision Skincare Black Mask. I believe this retails for, how much does this retail for, Courtney? Maybe like $40.
I believe.
Like that. Mm-hmm. So if you guys could see the inside of this, you literally use a couple of smears once a week. This thing is going to last you for a while. But when you talk about pulling all the ick out of your skin, this lovely thing is going to do it for you every single morning.
So proud of you, Mia.
As you get older, your skin changes, right? Maybe you had acne when you were young. Maybe you were super oily at a certain time. Maybe your hormones have changed. The Gentle Cleansing Lotion, I use this every single day. I could walk around makeup free because of this lotion. This stuff is literal game changers. Really easy peasy hydrating serum. I know Courtney's like, I can't believe me, you've got.
I'm so proud of you. You're hydrating commercial.
A couple of quick pumps. And then the last thing I'm going to show, and Courtney, this is not from me, but this is the best secret to, I found under eye and also just like scalp moisturizing. It's rose oil and hemp seed oil. There's a girl in town, yummy hair color. This lovely bottle for $10 will give your entire face and hair life, like when I tell you. So I wanted to share that because I'm a true believer, and I'm so thankful because Courtney, like we talked about, it was just a year ago where my skin was, it was completely disagreeing with me. And I think a lot of times when we go through things, either we Google, we ask our friends for advice, but it's also asking the experts. And that's why you're on, Courtney, because if you can debunk, okay, well, what does it look like to have this many injections? Or I've thought about doing lip, or I've thought about doing Botox. It's really going to, just knowing that you can call Courtney. Let me pop coordination back up really quickly too. Knowing that you have experts that you can ask, and there's no question that's too embarrassing or uncomfortable because you deal with this every single day.
And there's no sales pressure. You know, this isn't like, by the way, I am so proud of you, Mia. I was actually going to talk about how the things that every woman needs is a good exfoliator, a great hydrator, and a great cleanser. And you beat me to the punch. I'm so proud of you. And the thing is, this is what I always say too about skincare, because I realize like this is a very, difficult time out there. We don't all have the luxury of having spa days all the time, or going to the spa, getting facials, buying expensive skincare. I think that you can make such a drastic difference in just like little life hacks that help you take good care of your skin. So for example, if you're having breakouts, one thing that I always tell clients to definitely check is that they're wiping down their phone, the front and the back of their phone. That's a place where you can get a lot of germs, and then not, but we're all going to touch our face. What we've been hearing a lot about right now is maskne. Everyone feeling like, we're having these breakouts, these periorbital around the mouth breakouts and all down here. So it's really, really important more than ever to remove your makeup every night, because the mask and the heat from your mask is just like driving all sorts of different amounts of oil, and your skin's having basically two completely different environments. So you've got one that's going on underneath the mask, and then you have the rest of your face. Also, I always tell people to use each pillowcase 4 times. So sleep on one side of it, flip it over, sleep on the other side of that side, then flip it over, sleep on one side, sleep on one side. So 4 sleeps per pillowcase, because believe it or not, at night is when our skin produces the most oil. So if you're having breakouts, it can be something as simple as that. Also water temperature, making sure that you're not using really, really hot water and blasting it right on your face. in the shower, because you can get broken capillaries, those tiny little like red spider veins that we treat those with laser. Back to our like big, what did you call them? The glam slam?
The glam slams. Yeah. And
an incredible laser treatment. Yes.
It's good you mentioned water temperature, because Tanya from Henry Plumbing's on here. So if you need help with that, you can call her. Heather Hubbard, she is also in the beauty business as well here in town. So she is loving the talk. Okay, but go back to the glam slam of the lasers, because lasers let's talk about what lasers can do for people.
So lasers are definitely the future of skincare. You're not actually having to touch the skin. You're having very minimal to no downtime, and you're able to regenerate. So the biggest kind of building block of our skin is something called collagen. And what lasers allow us to do is actually stimulate and heat up and recharge collagen in our skin. And that actually makes it more taut and more like takes away of all, we were talking about how kind of you can lift the skin. Also we have lasers called BBL, which are broadband light, and they can literally zap the sun damage exactly where it is. And the sun damage crusts into kind of like almost, it looks like a little bit of a dead leaf, and then falls right off, and that freckle is gone. Like that sun damage is gone forever within 3 days. So we have laser hair removal, which is incredible. We have laser tattoo removal, which today was a laser tattoo removal walk-in day, and we had probably like 30 people come in just to be treated.
The laser hair removal underarm, how perfect does it make it so I don't have any shadow? How long does it last?
So it lasts forever.
Okay.
And sometimes women worry that they may have hormonal changes that they go through, and that could change like the growth cycle of your hair. But people have found like over decades that doesn't actually really happen. It very rarely does it ever grow back. We sell it in packages of 9 treatments that you space between 3 to 4 weeks apart. And then after your 9th treatment, you should never have hair under your arms again. And if you do, then we have a lifetime warranty. So if you do, you just come back and you see us, because we've been doing this for 15 years. We've literally done hundreds of thousands of laser treatments. And so we have that many happy customers. So we can say, we're going to be here forever. And if you ever aren't happy, or it doesn't work, or it's not, lasting a lifetime, come back and see us. Betsy, to answer your question about the sun damage removal, it's between $250 to $350 for the treatment, and that covers all of the areas that you want to get treated.
Courtney, what are we missing? Because I want to transition into the long-term legacy of what you're building for your daughter. What are we missing or need to know? Because so here's the deal. We're going into the holiday season, and people have talked about self-care and your health throughout 2020. I think this is the year where we're more cognizant of that than ever. We've done shows about mental health. We've done shows about being able to relate to food or emotional eating, or if you're having different struggles in that way. I think doing something for yourself is selfish. That's one thing we'd like to free you from. I think that's been an overwhelming conversation in these shows, but it's not vain to take care of yourself and to go, okay, I want to feel and look my best. And I say that because, again, when you're inundated giving and taking care of so many people, and then you look up and you're like, oh, I haven't done anything for myself since, and you start to think about it, and talking to Courtney, and if it's going to Glow Medspa and just seeing what they offer, or doing, they have great makeup lines, you name it. There's so many under eye things, so you can make sure that you're getting, as much maximizing when you're sleeping, that nightly skincare routine. Also, shout out to you, Courtney, for saying pillowcases, satin pillowcases. One, wrapping your hair in satin. Black women already know that's like the secret to keep the hair.
Yep.
But a satin pillowcase, y'all, that is a game changer too. But again, make that 4-day switcheroo. But what are we missing? Knowing, and I actually want to take this on, especially for Black women and women of color. A lot of times you'll hear the saying black doesn't crack, right? And I've got a mama, and you guys, if you follow me on social media, she's aged phenomenally. Like I'm very blessed, but I also recognize, like, I look at it like maintenance. So, and looking at how, you know, when you're going, okay, you're not going to have the same maybe aging rates depending upon your genetics. You take all of those things into consideration, which I really, really appreciate. Like looking at, okay, these are kind of natural tendencies when it comes to skin or aging or things like that. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Courtney?
Absolutely. So I think that one thing that you kind of spoke to and that I think is really happening right now is something that Estee Lauder actually coined back during the Great Depression, and he called it the lipstick index. And during the Great Depression, as you know, poverty levels were totally becoming normalized and the stock market was down and people were having such a hard time, lipstick sales went up, 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 up. And that was because what ends up happening is, as human beings, even if we don't feel great on the inside always, if we can do something to kind of bolster our confidence and just do one little nice thing for ourselves and make one little kind of treat for ourselves for an improvement, which for women tends to be, or tended back then at least during the Great Depression, to just be buying a tube of lipstick. That's what we do as human beings. So I think that right now what we're seeing, at least, we're having, which is kind of extraordinary, but we're having the best year that we've ever had for Glow, because we see so many customers coming in and they're not able to take vacations. They're not able to go out to dinners or celebrate, you know, in the same way that they used to. So what they're doing is that, which is wonderful, is they're prioritizing giving themselves little like mini escapes, right? So giving yourself an hour at the spa or a couple hours at the spa, a spa day, an opportunity to just bolster up the way that you feel and get some like wonderful new makeup that makes you feel really excited about the new season. You know, just, I think all of these Zoom calls that we're all on have really made us all aware of a little bit more of wanting to make sure that our appearance at least gives us that confidence that we want to feel about everything else that's going on in the world that we don't really have. So I think that's one thing that, to me, it's really important that we offer is a place. I kind of was telling you this earlier before we started, but that I want us to be a place where people can come and feel like they can really escape and be pampered and be cared for. I think back to kind of telling my story, what I always saw my grandfather and father do was take care of others. And what they always talked about, which I thought at the time was normal and now I realize was really special, was they would spend most of their time socializing about a solution for a patient, what this person needed or what they were going to do for this person, or comparing notes, updating about what a patient's progress was. So it's kind of funny to me, and it's very natural that what I've found to be my purpose and my passion is taking care of others in my own little way. And what I hope and what I like to think is that when people come into Glow, or even if they just want to, like you were saying, like email us or text us, DM us at any time on any of the social media channels, but we want to be the experts and we want to have an opportunity to help others really feel confident and to normalize a little bit of the intimidation factor about some of these procedures. They don't have to be crazy expensive, and you don't have to be scared of the needles or scared of lasers and have any fear about it. We can talk you through everything because we understand that, you know, these are all kind of new topics for some people, and that there's a lot of information. It's kind of, you know, not standard for us to know, like what's a unit of Botox and what's a syringe of filler and all of those things. But that's what we want to be here for, is to help people. And you don't have to buy the things that we talk about. We just want to empower women to make good choices and make safe choices and just be the best versions of themselves.
Well, and kudos to you, because I really feel like when people experience Glow, that they're experiencing your heart. And I did want to touch on, because we got to get to Reese, and then I got to get you so you can go and pick up Reese, because I know you got to go and hang out with your daughter. But you really have also taken this time in 2020 to champion diversity and diverse voices. And you have championed being a business that's going, I'm consciously listening to what I can best do to be the most inclusive, thoughtful, mindful, welcoming, representative. And I will say this just to toot your horn, because I am a Glow Beauty ambassador. But before becoming that, Courtney, you were highlighting Black women. You were highlighting different women, different shapes, sizes. And you were being very thoughtful to make sure that people knew that your services were welcoming and accessible to any single woman or man in this town, or in from out of town, or just visiting, to come in and experience Glow too.
Absolutely. Transgender, we welcome absolutely every single walk of life, and we are a safe space. We want to be all inclusive, and we're always learning. I learned so much from you and from other friends, but I just feel like this is the time. If there's anything great that comes out of this year, hopefully we all walk away with a little bit of humility, that there's so much growth to be done, and that we all have so much improvement, self-improvement, which is kind of, I guess, the topic of this talk. But I know for me, I'm always improving, and I appreciate you being one of our ambassadors and helping us do that.
I love you. Well, and I also have to tell you that I feel like we both get our confidence dose from your daughter, Reese, who is definitely your alarm clock. She is your pusher, your TikToker. What is it like to build this business, because this is going to be something that your daughter, this is her legacy that you're building. Tell everybody who's watching what that feels like as a mama every single day.
I think for me, I've had a really interesting time with working mom guilt, because when I got pregnant with Reese, I knew I was going to be a solo parent. And so I didn't have the opportunity to not work, but I didn't know if it was going to be okay that I had this whole all-consuming professional life. And then also I wanted to be the best version of a mother too. And I think, there's so many optimal circumstances that came for me, like that made it easier for me. Like I have, had a really successful career trajectory, which allowed me to have a little bit of help raising Reese. And I think my family is like very feminist, like my parents expected just as much of my sisters and I as they did of my brothers. Like we're expected to make our own way in the world and do all of that. And so I think even though I had like the workplace flexibility, and I have a female labor force that I feel really empowered about. Like I think that women-owned businesses that employ women and that are for women should support one another, especially in this community. But with all of that being said, for me, I think what I love most is that my daughter, whether she ends up taking over Glow or who knows, right now she wants to be a professional dolphin trainer. So I'm not winning. I'm not very cool to her. If we had dolphins, it would be like a cool place, but we don't. But I think just seeing at the end of the day, as a, single parent, having a child that sees you work really, really hard outweighs any working mom guilt that I had. And let me tell you something, working moms are stay-at-home moms too. The stay-at-home moms, I think, work even harder, in my opinion, than those of us who get to leave and go to an office every day and have the, luxury of childcare. But yeah, I think for Reese, I hope what I'm teaching her is to pass on a legacy of helping others first and foremost. When the pandemic hit, we had to shut everything down, of course, just like everyone else. And for about 3 days, I was just devastated and brokenhearted, because we're about to do this partnership with Sea Island, just like we did with the Perry Lane Hotel and work with which is so exciting. But it just got stopped. Everything got stopped for all of us, I know. But the third day, Reese and I went to Glow, and we started working with some really amazing other community members and building care packages for all of the nurses and the first responders, and putting together and assembling care packages. And so in Reese's understanding of what Reese sees, I hope, is that whenever we have the opportunity, we pivot and we give back to others. We don't just think about ourselves. So that's the legacy I want her to have.
I love how much you give back. I love that. I love that people can call you, because I've done those things. Courtney, let's do some holiday gifts for single moms, and you're like, yeah. And then it's like, it's another holiday season. Let's do more giving back. And I think that or I've talked to you on Mother's Day, Courtney, what can I do for moms on Mother's Day? That you will go, okay, what can we do, and what's possible? So I'm going to, as we get ready to wrap this up, I'm going to turn it over to you, because I know that there are men and women who are watching and they're going, oh my gosh, so you had this really cool like fashion life, and then you took this huge risk in creating this amazing medical spa experience in Savannah when it really wasn't here. And, and you're raising Reese as a single mom. Give the people some nuggets to take with them, so that they understand, one, how beautiful they truly are and powerful they are, and then how they can connect with you at Glow and follow you and all those things as well too, please.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So first of all, I think that it's really, you and I were talking about authenticity. I think it's really easy to come on here and say like all the really great things that are going on that happen. But I have to say, it's kind of like Warren Buffett said, it takes like 20 years to create an overnight success. And that's how I felt. Like there have been so many times that I've felt like maybe I should give up, or, talking to my accountant who says like, Courtney, we're not running a nonprofit. You have to stop giving so many donations away. And there have just been times that I've felt really like giving up. And I just think that if you can just, like from the movie Finding Nemo, like just keep swimming and just keep trying and just show up and suit up and fake it till you make it, that there truly is success for everyone that has a heart for others. And if your purpose and your intention is really to do good, that the money will follow. I think that as long as you're truly giving back to others and your heart is about service, that the money and the business success and the accolades and the awards and all of the cash and prizes and all of that will come. But I found, like I was kind of saying earlier, the thing that I love the most, that truly makes me happy and love my job, is being with other people and giving back to other people. That's what makes me feel good. It's not, opening another location or winning another award or hitting like a certain number of millions in sales. It's truly what makes me the happiest, is like making another person feel good. And I think that if that's what you love doing, then small business ownership is an incredible place to do it. And I wish everyone luck. And I hope that people just take risks and follow their dreams. I know that's easier said than done. But you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Courtney Victor 1. And you can always DM me or follow us on, there you go. Hey, you put it there right when I was saying, you are so good at this. And I just adore you and I love you. Thank you so much. You are such a bright light. You're just exactly who I want Reese to grow up to become. I tell you that all the time, but truly, you are so special.
So Reese has far outpaced us in life in every way, with cute donut glasses and ballerina pink swimsuits. That's why we have follows, so you can keep up with. Seriously, Reese is Courtney's boss. You think that running a business, Reese is the full time.
She's like a TikTok star. She thinks
she is a TikTok star.
She does videos and like there's no one watching, and she just talks these little YouTube videos to these fans. She's nuts.
She is joy, though. If ever you're looking for some timeline positivity, you hit Courtney's Insta and you're going to get doses of timeline positivity. All right. All the details again, y'all, glowsavannah.com, at Glow Medical Spa. What's the text line, Courtney?
213 go glow.
Okay. 213 go glow. Super thank you, David Pence, Allstate Insurance team. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Angela, for all of your hard work. Amazing veteran-owned business. You can talk to them at 912-961-9617. Thank you to the Reed family. Of course, Tanya Reed was hanging out on the top.
Thank you,
Check
Tanya.
out Henry Plumbing Company anytime, 912-352-9827. Most recently voted best in homes. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Lindy, for all of the comments throughout this show. As we close this out, Courtney, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take us off this live, y'all. I cannot tell you enough about the amazing things of Courtney. She's been a true friend, literally from the time that I came into Savannah. So anything that you see that I've even been able to do, been a part of, I would call Courtney and go, Courtney, I want to do a really cool event for women. And she would go, okay, what do we need to do? So these dreams, as Courtney's talking about, that are on you, there are people who will rise to lift you to places that you don't even know you're going to. And I can't say thank you enough, Courtney, for always being there in that time of need. And then thank you so much for my clear skin, which I was like, listen, y'all, when life gets stressful, it gets crazy. Hurricane seasons come through, COVID, all of 2020, and you just feel like, okay, I need some help, but I don't know who to talk to. I certainly hope that you reach out to Courtney and her Glow Med Spa team. Remember, it's not selfish to take good care of you. It's totally okay to love you. It's totally okay to do something nice for you. It's totally okay to say nice things to yourself. And if you ever have a question, don't Google, call Glow. All right, y'all, we love you. Next week, the one and only Jules De Jesus Fritz of Jules Loves Me will be hanging out. Right? We got more love coming.
Love you so much.
All right, y'all, stand by.
Bye, guys.